This video will explain how to add a family member to an existing household and their existing enrollment. After logging in, you will need to move to the client's workspace. To do so, click the Home Workspace button here. You will be presented with the Home Workspace and the Client Workspace. The Client Workspace will always show the very last client that you viewed. This is also the client that we wish to update by adding a child. Click here, and this brings up the client's dashboard. In this case, we see that we have an Open Shelter Plus Care enrollment and they recently moved in. As such, you will want to add a child to the household. It could also be a partner or spouse or some other arrangement. In this case, we go to the blue action gear next to the enrollment. You will click this and select Add Family Member. Here, this brings up all of Joseph's information, but I want to add Junior. We click here and this creates a highlighted row where you can enter all of Junior's information. We type in the first name, the middle, and the last. The name quality is a required HUD field. So for the name quality, you will select Full Name Reported. During this process, ClientTrack will search in the background to see if this client has been previously created. If so, a list of Junior Johnsons will appear here, and you could select one or you could elect to create a new one. As this client is brand new, we will cancel and proceed forward. Within the same highlighted row, the program will ask for Junior's birth date. We will say 04/05/2012. This calculates the client to be 6 years old. The program will ask for the birthday quality, which we know to be full and accurate, so we leave as full date of birth reported. You then scroll over by selecting this bar and move up to further options regarding Junior. Here, gender. Potential options are displayed: male, female, transgender, gender nonconforming, client doesn't know, or client refused. In this instance, we will select male. For Social Security number, the client does not have that available, so we will not enter a number here and we will leave the Social Security quality as client doesn't know. If the client did have a Social Security number available, we would simply enter it here and then select full or approximate. The next steps ask for the relationship to head of household. We would select the appropriate option. Is this a dependent child? Is this a son? Is this some other non-family? In this instance, we will say it's the client's son. Since the child is below the age of 18, we do not ask for veteran status. We do have to log the client's child's race and ethnicity. Select the 3 dots here. A screen will appear. Here you can select one or more options. Confirm the options by clicking the green checkbox. With ethnicity, there will be a drop-down box, and the child is either Hispanic or non-Hispanic. Finally, we do enter the release of information that mirrors what the adult head of household signed, since that reflects the permissions for the child. In this instance, the adult elected to share with all HMIS partners. We would select that option. We click Save and Close to proceed forward. Here, we get an error message since we did not enter an expiration date on the release of information. We will proceed forward exactly 1 year and select that date and then save and close again. This brings us to the enrollment screen, where if we are also adding the child to the enrollment and not just the household, we can now enroll the child as well. It's entirely possible that the child and the parent may have 2 separate enrollment dates. Here, we will select the child's name and their project start date is slightly different than the parent's date. This is to be expected. We click Save and proceed forward. The program will then walk you through a series of short assessments concerning the child, as we have already completed those for the parent. Here, the program asks if the child has a disabling condition. The options are yes or no, or client doesn't know. In this instance, we will select No. It also asks if the child has health insurance. Here we will select Yes. We then need to select the type of insurance the child has. Since it can be cumbersome to select yes or no for each of these, if you click the checkbox on the left-hand side first, this will default the status on all of the other options first. You may then go in and select State Child's Health Insurance Program, or SCHIP in this instance, as a yes. Now the child's insurance information is logged as they have SCHIP and no other insurance types. Click Save to proceed forward. This will bring you to the barrier screen. We had stated that the child has no disabling condition. However, if we had selected yes, we could state the type of barrier or disability faced by the client. Here, as again it can be cumbersome to check yes or no, if you select the checkbox on the far left-hand side, it defaults all of these barriers to no. If the client did have a barrier, such as a chronic health condition, you could select that as yes and then state that the condition is also indefinite. In this instance, there are no barriers to report. Save and close to proceed forward after each one has been selected as no. The next screen is the Child Education Assessment. Here, we are just attempting to log the child's highest grade completed. Since this child is 6 years old, he has completed less than grade 5 so far. If there are comments such as the child is missing school due to their homelessness, or if the child is currently transferring schools, a useful comment could be made here. Child is transferring to new school. Once satisfied, click Save. This brings you to the final screen that confirms your steps have been completed. Please click Finish to push all of the code forward and save. Now, returning to the Head of Household's dashboard, we see there are now 2 persons, the head of household and the child enrolled in Shelter Plus Care. That completes basic instruction on adding a family member to a household and enrollment.